Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will start with the roll call. If everyone could introduce themselves, starting from my right.
Joe Crawford, Assistant Superintendent.
Jane Samard, Business Administrator.
Michael Flynn, Superintendent.
Brenda Willis, School Board.
Michael Thiel, School Board Chair.
Jen Thoreau, School Board Vice Chair.
Jenna Paradise, School Board Secretary.
Jamie Carew, School Board.
Karen Rand, School Board.
Jason McLeod, School Board.
Anthony Henry, Pinkerton Academy Liaison.
Thank you, everyone. Our first order of business will be the consent agenda. For tonight, we have the public hearing minutes of December 9th, 2025, the public meeting minutes of December 9th, 2025, and the manifests in the amount of $5,587,808.11, of which $4,029,218.43 is general payroll, and $1,558,589.68 is general expense. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
First by Jason, second by Jamie. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. I have one item to consider outside of the consent agenda. This one's a little sad. We have a letter of resignation from Tammy Lampus, the school board's recording secretary, effective February 1st. Mrs. Lampus has served in this position for the last 7 years, and I know you're not done yet, but thank you, Mrs. Lampus, for all your hard work and attention to detail. I know, I can tell you, you're going to be sorely missed. So with that, I will take a motion to accept the resignation of Tamara Lampus as the school board's recording secretary effective February 1st, 2026.
Accept with regret.
Second.
First
With
by Jenna,
regret.
second by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. The second order of business will be the public hearing on the proposed 2026-27 budget and the other warrant articles. The board is required by law to hold at least one hearing on the proposed budget and warrant on or before the third Tuesday in January, before giving its final approval on the warrant that will go to the deliberative session. I will now take a motion to open the public hearing on the proposed 2026-27 budget and the other warrant articles.
So moved.
First by Jen, second by Jamie. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. So we will now move on with the hearing. All right.
Hang on. Escape. You're not in slideshow
I don't have a
mode.
keyboard for this.
Oh, that's right. You had it before. Start now. Upper right.
Top right corner,
Upper right.
right side.
Michael? Oh, sorry.
It's opposite.
Oh.
Nope.
Nope, that's not it.
Press escape.
I don't
Can you
think.
press escape? Yeah, just put that on that.
We can't, the tabs aren't showing up here.
Oh, the tabs aren't showing. That's why.
This is a good luck.
Top right, slide show.
Up, down.
All right. Well, let's get started. So to give some background of how we got here, the process was a bit different for everyone as we navigate the first year working with Mike. In September, he went to his SAU directors and his building administrators, asked them to prepare their budget requests. We then had 3 meetings with the administration, board, and fiscal advisory committee members in November and December, where we went over the budget and provided the administration with direction, and that resulted in the budget we're bringing for consideration tonight. So after today, we'll move on to the deliberative session on February 7th, and then the voting session on March 10th. I'll now read the text of each warrant article and give a brief background on each. After each article, I'll open up public comment on that warrant article only. Article 1 is the election of 2 school board members to full 3-year terms. The terms of Mr. McLeod and I are up at the end of this year. Ms. Guilford, our school district clerk, is here, and she'll be providing more information on filing and the election process following the hearing. Article 2 is the proposed budget. Is the proposed budget for the 26-27 year. I will read the text of the article. The average cost per pupil for the preceding year is calculated in accordance with RSA 189.75. 1A is $21,491.88. ELA proficiency 47%, math proficiency 34%, science proficiency 34%. Shall the school district raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant or as amended by vote of the first session for the purposes set forth therein, totaling $13,427,524. Should this article be defeated, the 2026-2027 default budget shall be at $113,765,475, which is the same as last year with certain adjustments. Required by previous action of the school district or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40, Section 13, paragraphs 10 and 16 to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. So all members of the school board and all members of the fiscal advisory committee supported this budget coming out of those meetings. It maintains class size goals, current staffing levels, it continues to support one-on-one technology, and it continues to provide specialized programs to meet student needs. To get into some of the drivers of the budget increases you're going to see here, we have salary and benefits increases from 2 voter-approved contracts for the teachers in the Derry Education Association and assistants in AFSCME. That's about a $2.5 million increase. We have anticipated increases in special education needs for next year, around a $993 increase. These are services we're required to provide by law. High school tuition, all of our high school students attend on tuition, and we have to absorb annual increases. For Pinkerton, we're looking at a 3.97% increase to the tuition rate, and we're having to budget for additional students, an increase of about $2.1 million. We have a contract for transportation that goes up 6%, that's about $150,000. And lastly, we can't thank voters enough for passing the facilities bond last year, but now this year we're absorbing the first largest payment on the bond, around $2 million. I also wanted to put a spotlight on that last line you'll see on this slide here, which is revenue. The biggest source of revenue we have besides local taxation is adequacy aid or state aid. We're expected to receive about $432,000 less than we did last year. In fact, in terms of dollars, the amount of adequacy aid we received has barely moved in the last 15 years. So, and the state on top of that has also reduced what it pays into the retirement system over the years, and that puts more of a burden on local districts. So the costs of doing business go up every year, which means if those state and federal sources are not keeping pace with that, a larger and larger percentage of the budget is expected to come from local taxation. Now, how do all these increases we're looking at add up? The DEA and AFSCME increases are required by the contracts approved by the voters. The bond payment, again, approved by voters. Pinkerton and Next are our high schools of record, and we need to pay for our students that go there. Special education services we're required to provide by law. Increases to transportation are part of our contract with First Student. And utilities increases we have to absorb to keep the buildings running. Of that total increase, about $9.2 million, that leaves about $865,000 of an increase for everything else. So this pie chart, I think, is very helpful in understanding the budget. You'll see the biggest drivers are salaries and benefits, about 51%, and Pinkerton tuition, that's about 29%. So that's 70% of the budget right there. When it comes to how we can reduce the budget, when we start looking at this every year, you don't have to cut too deep before you really start impacting what we're able to deliver to students. This is a quick summary of how the budget breaks out by grade level, the K-8 budget, and then we also provide services for 9-12 students outside of the tuition that we pay to Pinkerton and Next. So I will now open the hearing to public comment on warrant article number 2 only. If you'd like to speak, please approach the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, everybody. Brian Chiricello, 6 Rollins Street. My question is I came up maybe about a month ago and I mentioned the proficiency scores for the middle school. My question is, you've got it broken out, but does that include K through 8 and Pinkerton? Are those all combined percentages, or is it just K through 8, or where are you getting those numbers?
Those are K through 8, and that's the new requirement by the law. They are pulled directly from the state website.
Okay, that was the question.
Yeah,
I
so
had. I just didn't know.
Pinkerton is not included.
Okay, thank
They're
you.
the results of the previous year's SAS tests, the state assessment.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Not seeing anyone else who wants to speak to warrant article number 2. Last chance. We will move on to warrant article number 3. Warrant article number 3 is to add funds to the existing maintenance and repair expendable trust fund. The text of the article: shall the school district vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $500,000 to be added to the maintenance and repair expendable trust fund previously established, such sum to come from the June 30th fund balance available for transfer on July 1st, 2026, with no additional amount to be raised from taxation. So this was one of our board goals this year. We were very thankful to be able to pass the bond last year. That's going to allow us to make headway on our facilities. But there's still a number of needs that are unfunded, and one of the questions we've heard often is how can we keep up with our facilities and prevent the situation we were in before from happening again? In 2023, voters approved the establishment of a maintenance and repair expendable trust fund. What we need to do moving forward is establish a long-term capital maintenance plan that would be funded through this expendable trust fund. Voters need to approve moving funds to this fund, and once they're in the fund, they can only be used for the established purpose of the fund, which means we would have to use this money to improve our facilities. It can't be reallocated to something else. For this year, we're asking voters to move $500,000 from the June 30th fund balance, meaning the funds left at the end of this current fiscal year, into this fund. This would be tax neutral, as this is money that has already been raised. So I'll now open the hearing to public comment on warrant article number 3 only.
You want me to keep saying my name and address, or are we okay?
Yes, please. Right.
All right, Brian Chiricello, 6 Rollins Street. This is the monies that we are going to invest in Derry Village that you all had voted on. Am I correct?
No, this is completely different from that. This is, at the end of the year, we have our fund balance, the
Yep.
money that is left at the end of the year, and this is going to go into the expendable trust that was established in the 2023 election, which is a capital reserve fund that is, for facilities improvements.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought this was the 400,000.
No, I mean, that is voted on and done with. That came out of the contingency fund.
Good evening, Richard Tripp, 44 Wyndham Road. I think this is a great idea, putting money aside so that when you have I want to say emergency, but a need to do some repairs that were not anticipated, you can go ahead and do that without having to wait for March to come around and have a bond. The one thing that the one thought I have is how much do you anticipate having for a fund balance this year?
So we have not done our mid-year report. It will be at the next meeting.
Oh, can you make a guess? An estimate? I know that historically you have, somewhere $3 to $4 million, which is either retained or given back to the taxpayers. You know, the reason I bring that number up, I think that there's probably some leeway in increasing the amount of money that you're anticipating wanting to put into the maintenance trust. You know, so what I would recommend is that the school board take a look at how much money you're putting in the maintenance trust and consider adding a little of that, because it's as the board chair said, you know, once that money goes into the trust, it can't be used for anything else. And as I said, I think you have an opportunity here to build up the trust a little. I think this is the initial year you're putting money into it. You know, so if you can prime the pump a little bit more, would say $1 million or $1.5 million, you know, in the future years, we won't need another bond because we'll have money in the maintenance trust. Thank you.
Yeah, I think to your point, you know, this is something that we're looking to establish as something that is going to be done annually. You know, every year we're going to have this, you know, this trust has been established. It exists until, you know, the voters vote to dissolve it. And, you know, we're going to be looking every year at what we can add to it. You know, you can add from the fund balance. You could ask voters to add from new taxation. And, you know, moving forward, I think we'll be taking a closer look every year at what the needs are, what our long-term capital maintenance plan is, and, you know, making determinations on what we're going to add from there. I know, I don't know if Mike or Jane can speak. I mean, there was some calculus to how this $500,000 number was reached.
Yeah, the goal, since I've started here, the goal is to become more predictable year over year and more calculated in what we're doing and how we're budgeting. With the trust fund specifically, it's tied to the capital improvement plan, which was a school board goal this year, which we'll present prior to the end of this year. And you'll see a 10-range plan on what the goal is. $500,000 is a way to reintroduce this to the community and the purpose behind it. The real goal is to build, the easier way is I've been using it as a savings account that can only be dedicated to building specific projects in the CIP, is to build that savings account, as Mr. Tripp was alluding to, so that it becomes a revolving number year after year with the funds that are already raised and appropriated, so that we're not re-taxing the community in regards to stuff like that. So this, I could see this growing upwards, you know, in municipal budgeting, it could be upwards of a 2 to 3% annual savings balance that you want to have. This is a way to reintroduce it.
May I speak again? He's being mean to me. Well, I remember last year when there was lots of discussion. Oh, Richard Tripp, 44 Wyndham Road. Can you hear me?
I can. I was going to say. Thanks, Richard.
All right. I know last year when there was a lot of discussion on the bond, there was some people that thought that 15 was enough, 15 million. That would be me. There were other people that thought that like 35 was necessary. And I was happy when the board finally decided on like 25, you know. So obviously there's a lot more work that needs to be done on the schools. And as I said previously, you know, it'd be a lot better if we could have the maintenance trust, you know, with a balance that was sufficient to allow the schools to do the necessary repairs without having to come to the voters, you know. I think the idea of using the fund balance to fund the maintenance trust is a great idea. So like I said, if you have enough money, if you anticipate enough money residing in the fund balance at the end of the year, then, I think, once again, you could probably put a little bit more into the maintenance trust. Thanks.
Sorry, just a quick question on the wording. So it says, shall the school district vote to raise and appropriate? That tells me it's tax. It's coming, you're putting that into the budget as a tax.
Yeah, that's the law. Those are
So
the
is there a
words.
correlating revenue line that offsets it? Because,
Well, it's the next sentence at the end with no additional amount to be raised from taxation. So this is the challenges we run into these because these are all legally written,
yeah.
not layman's. As you wait till you get to the last one, so it's some of that we have to do a good job communicating that there's zero tax.
That's interesting because it's like raise and appropriate tells me it's a tax, but then you get the not to be raised by taxation. It's
Right.
kind of confusing, but anyway.
I had the same thought, but that is the language.
I'll add it.
Yeah.
Which one? This one? Yeah. All right. So, isn't this covered
Name.
on, I'm sorry,
Name
Yeah,
and
name and
address.
address.
LaJoy, Derry, New Hampshire.
I think you do have to give your address.
I just did.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
where I live. Right? I know you do. I know you do. So isn't this covered under RSA 1891-A, which is the duty to maintain? So right now, our schools are still falling apart, the superintendent's office is still falling apart, right? Sinking into the ground. Isn't that part? Yeah, sorry. Isn't that part of this? Isn't that why Richard's saying that we need more money to get everything that we have back up to par the way it should be? Isn't that the duty to maintain? Isn't that what we're talking about?
That's the goal.
Yeah, that is
this
the goal
warrant article.
of.
Right, but it's not enough.
So, can I say
Sure,
something?
absolutely,
I think
yeah.
over the last couple of years, what we've
Yep.
learned is there's got to be a balance, right? 2 years ago, we tried to do too much. We heard the voters spoke, said no, no, no. We went back to the drawing board and said, okay, we've got to look at things a little differently. So yes, we'd love to put more money, right, and hold money aside, but we also need voter support, right? So if we come again with saying, hey, we want to take $1.5 million or $2 million, I could be reasonable and say, people are going to go, you guys are crazy. We just gave you $25 million last year. So what Mike's saying, Mr. Flynn's saying is he wants things to be consistent and predictable. So if it's 500 or 750 year over year.
Don't you re-vote on this every year?
Yeah, but what he's
We
saying
can change it
is.
next year, right?
Yeah,
Can we get to where we need to be? So I think that's what people are looking for.
Yeah, my goal
Is to have everything back the way it should be.
Sure.
So that was, this started in COVID era, right? We were trying to get our buildings back to operational
I guess
status.
they
You
didn't want
remember,
to hear
right?
what he
Yeah, so my goal is really in a 3 to 4 year plan to get this savings account, I've been using the word, up to normal,
Yeah.
so that every year we're coming, it's the same number and it's nothing new.
Okay.
I'll agree with what Jason said. I don't want sticker shock. I mean, I could tell you,
agree with
that the balance should be about 3 million revolving. I don't think anyone's going to take that right now. So if I can slowly, incrementally increase that year over year, I think it'd be better.
That sounds reasonable. What do you think, Rich? No? I'm going to trust him. He knows. He's been doing this a long time. Thank you.
Not seeing anyone else coming to the microphone, so if there's no further comment on warrant article number 3, on warrant article number 4, we will move on to number 5.
No, we're on 4.
We are on 4.
Yep.
Okay. So Article number 4 is, shall the school district vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $700,000 for the purpose of financing school facility capital maintenance improvements, including, not but limited to, roofs, building facades, HVAC and doors and windows, and to authorize the use of that amount of the June 30th fund balance for this purpose. This amount represents the interest earned on bond proceeds that were transferred to the general fund on or before June 30th. So this article is asking to take the interest being earned by the bond funds approved last year and apply it to bond-related projects. So once the bond passed last year, the district received the bond funds and they were put into an account called a PDIP, the Public Deposit Investment Pool. So the bond funds are in that account and they're earning interest until they're expended on bond projects. So what this warrant article is asking for is to take that interest revenue and reallocate it to the purpose of the bond, which would dedicate it to facilities projects. So I will now open the hearing to public comment on warrant article number 4 only.
Getting my exercise today. Brian Churchella, Rollins Street. So how long, when did we receive that, the $24 million bond? Was it a year ago?
It was in August of 2025.
So not even 6 months, we made $700,000 in interest.
It's making anywhere between $60,000 and $70,000 a month right now.
Okay. So we have a $24 million bond, you got $500,000 going into a capital improvement plan, which is, okay, that's fine. Seems like we're pouring a lot of money into the maintenance side of things. Personally, I honestly feel that any interest made from that bond should go to pay off towards that bond, is my personal opinion. Because it's money that was a bond, it's the people, you know, we sold the bond as, we're gonna repair these. Yeah, you put it in the bank and it makes interest, I get it. But there is another way of actually trying to pay off some of that bond with that interest. You could do that.
So I'm going to have to get clarification because I'm pretty sure the laws prevent you. The government's pretty keen on when you have money that was given by the community and it's earning interest to pay it down. So there's some specifics there that I would have to get clarity on. But that's certainly a topic, but I feel pretty confident that it can't be applied towards the payment.
I mean, for one, I'm pretty sure we're required to stick to the payment schedule that we have. We can't pay the bond down early if we have additional money.
Well,
right?
wait a minute, you can't pay the bond off early?
No, that's one of the things with municipality bonding. That's how they make their
Are
money.
you sure about that?
We've discussed this before.
I mean,
Yeah.
over the years, you've had bonds that you've paid off or you've refinanced to get lower interest rate. Typically, maybe you pay a penalty, but typically you can pay down a bond.
Not in the municipality bonding, and you actually can't refinance until after the 10-year mark. That's the first time they reevaluate it.
Yeah. So I hear what you're saying. There's probably creative ways to do it, switching different lines, but anyway, that's my personal opinion. Because in all honesty, you get the 500 plus the 7 is 1.2, 24. So you're spending there's a lot of money going into maintenance.
Well, I mean, what I would say to that is this warrant article gives you a choice as a voter, right? You're getting to, we're putting this question to you and you're getting to vote on it. If you vote yes, then the money would be reallocated to the bond projects. If you vote no, then the money goes into the June 30th fund balance and it just becomes part of the fund balance.
So good question. If it does get voted down, where does that money go? Because my understanding too is you got to be careful of how much money you're making with the bond too.
Accurate, yeah. So there are some rules in regards to that. That's why this is one of the pieces of advice your legal team provides you is to really dedicate the money that was given by the community and receiving more permission for it to go back into. So just to what you've been referencing in regards to facilities, this interest can only go towards bond-related projects. It can't go into other facility issues that were never discussed. So I just want to be clear. So it can only go into what the bond was issued for and or what was discussed through the bonding process. So it can't go towards new carpeting. It has, that's why there's two different articles.
And that is if this article passes.
If it passes, yeah.
But if it fails.
It goes into end-of-year surplus.
So then we'd carry 700,000, but that seems like you've got 6 months worth of interest. It's 700,000. Another 6 months. Well, you'd be spending it down. I get it. So it may not be the next 6 months, 700,000, but more than likely, correct me if I'm wrong, that $24 million plan was a 5-year plan?
Correct. So this year, when some of the bigger projects are going to be done in South Range, that comes down, and we're going to be earning a lot less interest month over month.
3-year plan?
3 year?
We're going to be doing
3 years.
3 years, okay, thank you.
Yep.
You're getting your steps in. You're getting your steps in.
Richard Tripp, 44 Wyndham Road. I think this is a good idea. If you don't want to put more money into the maintenance trust, then just leave the money in the bond, because the purpose of the bond is somewhat specific. It's not totally specific, so you'll have the money to do the repairs that you anticipated last year, but didn't want to bond this year. So if you can grow your bond size with the interest, that's a good idea, because it leaves you with money to do the anticipated repairs that you weren't able to fund last year. Thank you.
All right, not seeing anyone else coming up to comment on number 4, so we will move on to warrant article number 5. So I will read the text first. Shall the school district vote to authorize the Derry School Board to sell the property located at 18 South Main Street, Derry, New Hampshire, current location of the SAU number 10 offices, with the buildings thereon in such manner and on such terms as it deems in the best interest of the district, and to further authorize the school board to take any and all actions to facilitate and/or consummate this conveyance, including securing necessary approvals and executing necessary documents with said sale, subject to the district's compliance with the statutory right of first refusal provision granted to charter schools by RSA 194, Section 61. So this article addresses another one of our board goals for this year, which was to make a determination of what to do with the Derry Village School property. If you've been watching that process, we formed an advisory committee to study this issue, and that committee's recommendation was to move the SAU administration to the Derry Village School, primarily into the 2000-built addition, and sell the existing SAU. The board voted to approve that recommendation. The current SAU office consists of a 125-year-old building and 2 20-or-so-year-old portables. The SAU staff will move later this year, and once the current SAU office is vacated, the board would like to put it up for sale. Because the building once served as a school, it was the original Derry Village School from 1901 until the 1960s, voters need to approve the sale. If it's approved and we reach a deal to sell it, charter schools would have a first right of refusal under the law to match that offer. So to be clear, charter schools can't undercut an offer made on the open market, but they would have priority if they can match it. So I will now open the hearing to public comment on warrant article number 5 only.
Ryan Churchill, 6 Rollins Street. That was one of my questions. I was unclear of that RSA granted to the charter school. So how would that work? Because, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. I'm thinking that if you were to sell this, it would go RFP, right?
Yep.
And no one really gets to see the number. So how does that work? So a charter school just says, I have interest in this.
Once
Do you get to see the actual bids?
Well, yes, they get to know what they have to match. Yes, once the board makes the decision on who their buyer is going to be, then that becomes knowledge anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I would think we would agree to a sale contingent on the fact that it has to be offered to charter schools to match.
Yeah, and then we communicate it out through our office to the state, and then
Yeah.
they communicate it to charter schools.
It's just kind of strange because everything's kind of in an envelope, you go with your highest and best offer, but yet the charter school can come in and see what the bids are and outbid
Oh,
it.
they don't know until, as Mike said, till there's an agreement. So the board would review all of the bids, just like any bidding process that comes in. And then whenever the selection is, then you send that out, that communication out for first right of refusal to the charter schools.
And it could be any charter school licensed in the state of New Hampshire, is that how it works? Or?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, that's interesting. Second question is, if this gets voted down, what then happens? What's Plan B?
Well, if it gets voted down, we have to hold an empty building for at least another year.
So am I correct? So let's just kind of play devil's advocate here. It gets voted down, let's say, but you all voted to spend $400 to make the improvements in Derry Village. You're moving to Derry Village anyway, then this becomes vacant.
This building will be less to be vacant and unoccupied than currently DVS is right now.
Yeah.
So we'll be still saving the taxpayers money because this will be vacant and it's a lot less cheaper to keep from freezing than the Derry Village School is. That would become
It just
occupied.
seems kind of just a strange way of doing things, that's all. I would have thought if this got voted down, then the deal with Derry Village gets voted down, but it seems like that's a done deal.
This is strictly on the sale of the building. And again, the only reason this even has to go to a warrant article is because it was a school 70 odd years ago.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So I actually saw that you guys have to do this with charter schools. Now, why didn't we do this with Derry Village? Why don't we try selling Derry Village? We've been sitting on it, right? Anybody?
Well, it's been closed. You know, this is the second year it's been closed.
Right, but it
and-
was more viable then. We could have sold it then, you know? We closed it down right away and it's been sitting there. As opposed to, I don't know, we would make more money off Derry Village.
Well, that's
selling that,
That's
right?
what the committee was formed for, and they did the research over what they thought was going to be the best route. And because the ultimate consensus was that there's no more land to be had, so selling off the Derry Village property was selling a valuable piece of property and land that included down by the fields that were down there and the property, so it made more sense to hold on to what was more valuable than holding on to this building, which if we were going to be sinking millions of dollars into a smaller parcel of land and a building that also needed tons of work. So there's more to be done long-term with Derry Village and the property than holding on to this. That's what the Derry Village Committee basically came to the conclusion of.
It's also not just a simple sale because it's connected to other properties, so it would have to be subdivided. The town really needs the soccer fields and the baseball fields, so that was also a consideration of the committee. What happens to it long term? Nobody knows, but at least we will keep the ball fields in use. We'll have the gym available for rent, and we'll hopefully get everybody moved in there and into a better space. I would really love for you to go on a tour of the SAU. I'll meet you there, because I don't think you'd want to work there either. Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously.
No, I was actually going to reach out to you and I didn't. I'm sorry, but absolutely.
I've been in the building. It's an old building.
Have you been in the
But it is also a
basement?
historic building, so it's, what's that?
Have you been in the basement?
No, but
Okay.
I've been in many, yeah.
We're going to go on a tour. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'd like to do that. No, I'm just curious as to why we wouldn't consider doing that with Derry Village first, because you could put a charter school in there. I know that's kind of against what you guys want, but
I mean, I think the consideration is
it's a
that
perfect opportunity for a charter school.
The property
or
is too
next.
valuable to the district for a quick, $2.5 million sale. We don't know what the future is going to hold, not just in 5 years, but in 20, 30 years. And, you're never going to get a piece of property like that in Derry back.
I agree with you there. Is that under the Hood deed? It is, isn't it? Yeah.
No.
No?
No, it's, yeah.
West Running Brook and the maintenance building. So there's several pieces of property there that are all linked together.
Yeah, that's one piece of property. So to sell off just Derry Village.
No, I agree with the fields. Kids should be playing outside. I never see kids outside during recess anymore. But I went to Derry Village, by the way. So I went to Derry Village from 1st to 5th grade. So
Yeah. As long as the feels like
Little
temperature is
sentimental.
above 32, those kids are outside.
All right, yeah.
22.
Okay, thank you.
It is.
All right, if there are no further commenters on Article 5, last chance, I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
First by Jen,
Second.
second by Jenna, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Yeah. Yes, that was warrant article number 2. Well, we opened the public comment on warrant article number 2. Brian, what I will say is we opened and closed the comment on the budget question. If you want to come up again during the public comment period, you're free to talk about whatever you want on school and district business, but the public hearing is closed.
Okay, that was my question. So I just needed some clarification because you're saying the warrant article 2 is the bottom line number. I had a quick question on the budget that we have here.
Yeah, that's warrant article number 2 is the budget.
That was a little bit tricky. Because usually the warrant's basically the budget you're proposing or a default budget. That was the question that I was looking at, like bottom line. I thought we were going to be able to chime in on some of the overall budget.
That was the discussion under warrant article number 2. That's the breakout of the budget that's in.
Again, it's a little bit misleading, but if you would allow me to say one quick thing.
I would say the public hearing has been closed, but if you want to come up during the public comment period, delegations and individuals, and speak, you certainly can. All right, before we move on, I'd like to thank everybody who took the time to learn the issues, come out tonight and speak at the hearing. The work we do is on behalf of all of you, all the people of Derry, and the hearings like this are the opportunity that we get to hear from you. So our next item will be information on the upcoming election from our school district clerk, Tina Guilford. So Tina, you can come on up and take it away.
We got to figure out a different way.
Good evening. Everyone doing okay today? All right, so we'll start with our filing period. The filing period starts January 21st and ends January 30th. So for anyone that wants to file for any town or school district offices, you will come here to Town Hall between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. And you will come to the clerk's office and we will get you signed up. We will have all the forms here. You will get signed up, and I'm looking forward to seeing lots of people sign up because there are the 2 school district school board members for 3-year terms. And then there is town council at large. There is town councilor District 3, supervisor of the checklist, 3 for the Derry Public Library, 2 for the Taylor Library, and a trustee of the trust funds. So there's lots of seats open. It will be kept up to date on the town website, like we always do, and I will send over, we'll also list the school district people that file there, and we will send it over to the school district so they can also put it on the school district website. The deliberative session will be February 7th, 10 a.m., West Running Brook. Look forward to seeing lots and lots of people. Let's try to break 150. That would be great. And the last item, and this is very, very important for anyone that wants to vote via absentee ballot. The absentee ballot applications are available here. Obviously, we don't have a ballot yet. We need the deliberative session to happen first. But you can get your application in whenever you like. The application has a new requirement. It's a new statutory requirement. So you either need to come into town hall and show your ID along with your application. You need to send in the application with a photocopy of your ID, or you need to get your application notarized. If you are someone who cannot leave your home, please call the town clerk's office. We will happily make arrangements to get a notary to your home so that you can vote absentee. Okay? Town clerk's office, 603-432-6105, or you can email us at townclerk@derrynh.gov. We are here and happy to help. The deadline for absentee ballots, as always, is the day before the election at 5 p.m. Do you guys have any questions?
I have a question for the ID. Is it front and back of the ID, or is it just
We
the
would
front?
appreciate front and back. The front is the most important, but they're not specific. It says photocopy of the ID, so technically the front and the back. And for some people, they have a P.O. box on the front, but they have their address on the back. So it's best to photocopy both sides.
And I just wanted to give a little plug because my oldest is going back to college this weekend, as many of them are, and sent her down to town hall today, and she was able to fill out the application. So even though, like you said, the ballots aren't out, if your kids are going back to school, now is a good time to send them down with their ID if they're already registered voter. If not, they can register, correct?
And the deadline to register to vote for the filing period is the Tuesday before, on the 20th. There will be a supervisor of the checklist session from 7 to 7:30 p.m. But yeah, come on in, register to vote. Come in and fill out your application. If you fill it out ahead of time, literally the day the ballots come in, we will turn around and we'll get those out same day. So please, if you need, the sooner the better, especially if you need us to go to your home. Photo IDs are acceptable. You can do driver's license, state ID, passport. Student IDs are still acceptable at this time, although they may not be in the future. They are right now. So,
can you also speak to the new rules of the post office about submitting about submitting absentee ballots, and that it is not when you drop it off into the post box that it has to actually be processed?
So in New Hampshire, we've never gone by the postmark. We have to have it in the town clerk's hands by 5 p.m. on election day. We've never been a postmark state, so it's really not something that will affect us. Okay. I mean, if you cannot get your ballot back, come into town hall or call us. We'll see what we can do, or send it overnight. There are tons of ways to do it. I mean, last year I had a woman who overnighted her ballot from Florida just to make sure that her vote counted. We do this all the time. Call us. We're not scary. We're here to help, I promise. Have a good night.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina. That is, of course, incredibly helpful information. You know, we'd like to see as many people as possible turn out for this election. You know, these are some of the most important things that you're going to get a chance to vote on. You know, I know everybody comes out for the November elections, but, you know, this is your town. This is, you know, your town government. This is your schools. You know, we would like to see as many people as possible come out and participate in these elections. All right, the next item will be delegations and individuals. At this time, residents of Derry, parents of currently enrolled Derry students, and employees of the district may address the school board on matters that pertain only to school and district business for a period of time not to exceed 3 minutes per person. As a reminder, questions cannot be answered in real time. If you would like to speak, please come up to the microphone at this time and state your name and address for the record.
Brian Churchello, 6 Rollins Street. Thank God I don't have to spell my name 6 times coming up next time. Yeah, I looked at the budget, but number one, I went to the website, the school district's website. It had the agenda, but it didn't have any of this documents for people at home to see. I don't know why. Maybe someone can go now if you want, but typically you have your agenda and then you have attachments and everything. There was none this time. So the people at home, for transparency, it looks like there wasn't anything there. Number two, this is more or less a summary sheet, correct? Where can I find the detail in this stuff? For instance, I don't know what's included in, like, financial services, right, is a 12% increase. So I don't know what that all involves without details. And I don't know if it's something that I can get from Jane or it's going to be posted. I don't know. Because it's typically, when we go to deliberative session, it's all spelled in the book. But I really have no time to kind of digest that.
Sure, and I believe we had posted it on one of our fiscal advisory members when we presented it, but we will make sure it's up to date, and
Okay.
we can certainly post it to the website, and I could also email you one.
Okay.
Sure, and it has the breakdown of every account that
Yeah.
lead to that.
Yep. And then, I don't know, my question here is on the debt service, 5,000, right? It looks like the percentage increase is 141%. That kind of skews the other numbers, is that, am I reading that correct? Is that skewing your 9.74%?
Sure, it would, yes.
So, okay, so you gotta do the math, I guess, to figure out what the increase was. And then correct me if I'm wrong, I know there was a teacher contract, excuse me, 2 years ago, I believe, or last year.
This is the second year of the contract.
We're in the second year. And the way I read it, or the way that I've interpreted it, and if I'm wrong, you correct me, it was basically 7% increase.
In this upcoming budget, it will be the second year. of the
We're in the second year, right? So we got one more year. Next year is going to be another 7% on the salary side. We already talked about your budget's 80% personnel. I get that. But it seems like we're going to get hit this June between the salary increases of 7%, the bond with the principal and interest. That's why I was mentioning earlier, if we could use that 700 to pay the bond, it would be a less hit for the taxpayer. But come June, there's going to be a significant hit. I had one more question, and I'm trying to remember what that was. The other thing is, when do you all discuss the fact that if you have money left over, that you can, in unreserved fund balance, typically the discussion is you can use it to offset taxes, right? Or do different things. When are you all having that discussion?
It's normally around May,
Around May?
the May meetings.
So once you get past deliberative session and everything, if you've got extra money, then you can choose to vote to use some of that to offset the tax rate, correct? Okay. All right, thank you.
Just while Mr. Tripp is walking up, we were able to confirm that you are not allowed to pay the bond off early at all. So since that occurred.
Good evening, Richard Tripp, 44 Wyndham Road. In addition to being a state rep, I also sit on the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission. And at our last month's meeting, we were reviewing the 10-year plan for the state. And I was kind of surprised to find out that Bedford is getting a grant to install 3,800 feet of sidewalks. And I know that, is it my 3 minutes up already? No.
I don't know who
think they
controls the
reset
light.
it.
I'm sorry. But anyhow, of course, this is state money. And I know in the past there's been conversations about why do we need to haul kids on the bus to schools when they live, really close? And of course, the answer has always been, well, there's no sidewalks, so they'd have to walk in a street or something. So I would suggest that you possibly contact the town or the planning commission, if you're interested in getting some sidewalks so the children don't have to walk in a street, so that we could maybe get a grant from the state too in the next 10-year plan, because the buses, I know we have 28 buses or something like that, and that you're hauling kids, from close to the schools, when if they had sidewalks to walk on, they wouldn't have to there would be less reason to bus them. And if the money's there, it'd be nice to get some of it for Derry. Thank you.
All right, not seeing anyone else come to the microphone, so we'll move on with the meeting. However, the public comment period will remain open until 7:16 p.m. If you wish to speak prior to that time, approach the microphone and I will recognize you at the next break in the agenda. Our next item is student member updates, so we will have Anthony with his Pinkerton Academy update.
Hello, and I do want to say thank you to Tina for the election update. I'm excited to be voting for the first time in that election, so that'll be fun. Feels like a long time coming for me. But anyway, next week is midterms for Pinkerton, January 20th through the 23rd. There will be no school on the 26th so that teachers can do their workshop and prepare for the second semester. And then semester 2 begins on January 27th. 8th grade course night will be January 15th from 5:30 to 8 at Pinkerton. It is not, one long session. It's a come and go as you want. There will be teachers in various areas to educate on what will be taught. Electives Info Day is January 26th. This is the, field trip where the 8th graders at the middle school will go to Pinkerton, learn about some electives from the CTE program, such as wood shop, automotive, cosmetology, things like that. And fundraiser from class of 2026, Ice Skating Night. It's a school-wide fundraiser. All students at Pinkerton are eligible to attend. Saturday, January 24th, from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Delta Dental Arena in Hooksett. There will be in-person ticket sales on January 15th from 2 to 2:45 in room 62230, or on My School Bucks from now until January 20th. Also on January 15th, the Wellness Committee will be meeting at 2:15 in the Manning Lecture Hall, which is in the Science Building. It's a fairly new committee that has met, that will be meeting to discuss how we can promote wellness across campus. I know we've been making some strides here for that. I remember my class when I was at West, when it was West Runningbrook Middle School, was one of the first classes that had morning meeting. Mm-hmm. So I remember that, and it's good to see that we're getting that kind of spread to Pinkerton. Sorry. Mrs. Kim Larkin, one of our deans of students, has been recognized as the New Hampshire Assistant Principal of the Year by the New Hampshire Principals Association. So congratulations to her. And I'll be making this announcement next meeting also, but course selections will be from February 2nd until February 13th. And with that, that is my last update of semester 1. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. Anyone have any questions for Anthony?
Congratulations to the hockey team for the tournament that they won. That was a big tournament to win.
Yeah, it was. I didn't make it there. I've been attending some basketball games lately. I actually saw Jason this past week at one of them.
Friday.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Big win there too, yep.
Yep, good win against Londonderry.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. Our next item is deliberations. We have 2 items related to the finalization of the budget and warrant after tonight's public hearing. The first item will be to consider approval of the proposed 2026-2027 budget. Before I call for a vote, do we have any comments or discussion from the board on the budget? Anyone?
I'll take a second.
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to thank everyone for putting up with me for the start of the school year. It's been a challenge, and I know I've been saying it about Jane and specifically the team here, but we really did flip it on its head from where we started in September to where we are this evening. I think the board has done an outstanding job actively questioning what we're doing and why we're doing it, and how, more importantly, what's the long-term plan. I really believe that if we can create more of a predictability, it'll be better for everyone in the community. And I think this is a good start to kind of leveling off some of those lines so that you're not going to see high increases or high decreases. So just wanted to thank everyone for your patience and understanding as we navigate this. Next year will be easier.
I was going to say something similar. I'd like to thank you and Jane and your team at the SAU office for all the hard work that goes into putting this budget together. I mean, we all know it's never easy. I mean, it is not easy doing school district finances in the climate that we're in. And I'd also like to thank the members of our Fiscal Advisory Committee for the work they put in. I see we have a few of those members here tonight, both of the meetings and all the preparation time that you put in to participate in something like that. It's very helpful, I know, in the process for us and the administration in putting the budget together. So if there is no further discussion, I will take a motion to finalize the proposed 2026-2027 budget in the amount of $113,427,524 and the default budget at $113,765,475.
So moved. Second.
First by Jason, second by Jen. I'll do a roll call vote. Brenda? Jen?
Yes.
Jenna?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 7-0. So next we will consider approval of the 2026 warrant. I'm going to call for 2 votes. First up, the board can add to the warrant that it recommends or does not recommend Articles 2 through 5. So I would accept a motion to add the board's recommendation to Articles 2 through 5.
So moved. Second.
First by Jason, second by Jen. Is there any discussion? All right, we will take a roll call vote. Brenda? Yes. Jen?
Yes.
Jenna?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 7-0. Finally, we will consider approval of the 2026 warrant as presented, adding the approved recommendations on Article 2 through 5. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
First by Jason, second by Jen. Any discussion? All right, we will take a roll call vote. Brenda? Yes. Jen?
Yes.
Jenna?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 7-0. So thank you to everyone up here and out there for your participation in this process, and we still have quite a ways to go. So I will remind everyone of the rest of the process. Saturday, February 7th at 10 a.m. in the West Running Brook Gymnasium, we will have the deliberative session. At the deliberative session, we will again present these articles, and all voters in attendance will have the opportunity to discuss, propose, and vote on changes, and ultimately vote on the warrant articles that will go to the next step, which is the voting session. On Tuesday, March 10th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the Pinkerton Academy Hackler Gymnasium, voters will have the opportunity to vote on the articles by official ballot, along with candidates for the open board seats. So I would encourage everyone listening tonight, I would assume everyone who is listening to my voice right now is going to be at the deliberative session and is going to be voting in the election. But for everyone out there who's not listening, for the people who are listening, tell everybody you know those 2 dates to be there. All right, next up we have administration reports. So first up will be Jane with her business administrator's update.
Okay, before I begin my finance update, I would like to share some sad news and take a moment to acknowledge the passing of Susan Baraskis, our former food service director, on December 19th. Susan began her career here in Derry in 1993 and dedicated over 28 years to the district, serving our students and supporting the daily operations of our schools before retiring in 2021. Susan will be fondly remembered for her commitment, kindness, and lasting impact on our students, staff, and community. I was very fortunate that I was able to work with her for more than 23 years, and on behalf of the board and the school district, I want to extend our deepest condolences to Susan's husband, Michael, her extended family, and her loved ones. And at this time, I ask if we could observe a moment of silence in Susan's memory. Thank you. To continue with the my finance update, the finance department is actively working on our 24-25 single audit. Although it feels like it's a whole year behind, all of our information was pulled earlier in the summer. They also send information of areas that they want to do testing on. All of that information was uploaded into the portal in the summer and completed by November. We're just waiting for the auditors now to review the information. And that audit is on ESSER funds, which feels like so long ago, but it's on ESSER funds and IDEA, which is our federal funds for special education. And next year, each year we're going to have a single audit. So next year I'll have a single audit for this current year, and we're not sure which project it'll be on, but because we receive larger amounts in federal funds, they have several to choose from. So, but once that's completed, we will bring the results to the school board. I also want to make mention, we're still taking applications for free and reduced. I actually received several applications recently, and several families were approved, so we request that people still continue to apply. We've recently heard of several families having layoffs in their homes. That is a change in your home's financial status. Those families should definitely try to apply for free and reduced, as they may be surprised that they qualify. If you need any assistance in your application, please reach out to Christina Lebelzik, our food service director, and she's actually located at West Runningbrook, and she would be happy to help you fill out that application. I'll also be working on the annual report relative to the finances and completing the MS-26 and which is the proposed budget that will be moving forward to the deliberative session, as well as the default budget proposal that will also be prepared prior to the deliberative session. Any questions?
All right. If there are no questions for Jane, we will move on to Mike and his superintendent's update.
Thanks. So quick updates. It feels like forever since we've last met. At the same time, there was minimal school days in between. On the record, feels like everyone wants 2 weeks off every year. Not sure that's going to be possible. School calendar, we are in the process of developing. You should be seeing that at the next meeting or so in regards to future years. But I think 2 weeks felt, well, I don't know about all the parents at home, but I know everyone else on our side felt pretty good about the return. So welcome back, everyone. It's 7 short weeks now until break again. This is the time of year where I watch the weather when I wake up and before I go to bed. It's the most challenging time for sure. So thank you for everyone in our first delayed opening. It went pretty well. And I look forward to what's to come, honestly, in regards to that. I wanted to say thank you to the PTA. I see tonight some that came this evening, but we made our rounds at the PTA, and Joe, Jane, and I. What a great group of individuals, very engaged, outstanding questions, not just about the budget, but about operations and things that we have going on. So I'd love to come back anytime that you guys are looking for discussion, but it was great to meet more people as I'm navigating through 7 months now here. But that was a great 6 days. I think we had 6 meetings. Yeah, 6 meetings. So thank you to everyone for that. And then last, I know it's coming up on the agenda, but I might as well add it in here, is we're changing the process. Not new, not shocked, right? I've been changing everything. Kindergarten registration, we're bumping back till March. So we've had several people reach out in the last week asking where it's at. We're holding off until March for some internal operations and changes. So you'll see that go live after February break. It'll go out, hit the wire, and then we'll go from there. So that's it out of our office. Thank you.
Any questions for Mike? Not hearing anything, so we'll move on to FYIs and member updates. The one item we had in our packet was kindergarten registration, so Mike has pretty much covered that. The one thing I would say is that we do emphasize how important it is to register early, because for kindergarten, you are not guaranteed a spot at your assigned school. If spots at your assigned school fill up, it's possible you could be assigned to an overflow school. So to avoid that, we suggest that you sign up as early as possible. Were there any other member updates?
Are we doing committee reports?
We haven't had any committee.
So policy hasn't met. Has anything? Oh, yeah, that's right. We met in finance
Facilities, yeah.
and facilities. Sure, we can do committee updates. Go ahead.
It's on there.
It's on the agenda.
Oh.
We skipped over it.
You know, it was my fault because I mentioned kinder, and then, so I
Oh,
apologize. So finance update, yeah. Sorry, Michael.
Sorry, we will
That's my
do
fault.
committee reports. So first up will be Jenna with the finance committee update.
Okay, thank you. I actually have something to say today. So we basically went over the warrant articles, obviously, that were all presented today. So we had that taken care of. And then the second bit that I wanted to bring to everybody is I just kind of wanted to give an update on the bond and what has been spent and what's been completed. And then we're going to do another presentation probably next month with an update on that. I kind of feel like the public might want to know what has actually been checked off the bucket list, basically. So far to date, we have spent $3.4 million of the bond money. We have completed the roof of West Running Brook, the concrete banding of West Running Brook, the chimney at Grinnell, Grinnell's roof, and Hood's roof. That's all I've got, but I wanted to share that. Thank you.
All right, the facilities committee also met. So Jason, if you have an update.
Yeah, great, thanks. So we met last Wednesday and focused on some updates to current ongoing capital projects, planning initiatives, and upcoming timelines. The agenda items that we covered were capital improvement plan, also known as the CIP. So Jeremy provided an overview of developing and expanding the capital improvement plan and the work that's going on with Mike and team to identify and add projects at an ongoing basis. So kind of mapping out what the future looks like with regards to some of the funds that we've discussed tonight. We also discussed the UMass Lowell partnership. So district has been selected by UMass Lowell to help with some of the planning and documenting and sort of the administrative work. Good benefit for us, also good benefit for the students. So follow-up meeting with Mike and Jeremy is scheduled for January 20th to discuss scope and next steps. We also discussed the South Range projects. Cost estimates from Honeywell are pending with coordination led by Mark Jobin. Gale Associates has completed their numbers and will issue interest letters to potential bidders, or they should have probably done that at the end of last week. But those bids are due back to the district by January 29th. Derry Village, that renovation or the upgrades to move the SAU office there, drawings have been received from LaValle Brensinger and are being reviewed. And the SAU facilities update, so obviously we talked a little bit about that tonight, but Jane's kind of punch list item there is to reach out to multiple realtors to at least start the process and get the conversation going. Obviously, nothing can happen until the vote happens in March, but at least to start conversations and understand that expectations and what things look like should the voters approve that warrant article. The other item we discussed was the East Derry roof project. So the design documents have been released for bidding, and construction is planned to begin during this upcoming summer. And our next meeting is scheduled for February 9th at 9 a.m.
All right, thank you, guys. I am a member of both of these committees, so I probably should have known that we met since the last meeting, but anyway.
I had a question for Jason.
Sure.
I can't see you. So I was just wondering, with the facilities meeting, one of the other committees that I'm on is Net Zero, and they work with, they ask us and check in and see if we do anything with like New Hampshire Saves or any of the energy efficient things. Are they being contacted or in conjunction with what's going on over at DVS to see if there's any type of savings to be had where it's being outfitted with the new HVAC, I believe, or new air conditioning systems or the lighting or anything? Are you aware or who that would be to talk with about
We
that?
haven't had any discussions directly with the Net Zero Committee as part of that committee. Certainly, they could reach out, or Mike and team could reach out to the Net Zero Committee to see if there's anything that they could add there, but, I mean, in the perfect world, right, we're looking at cost efficiency in terms of what the system looks like, what the installation looks like. And Mark Jobin is obviously kind of managing that project, you know, in terms of high-level stuff, and then it comes through the committee. So certainly they can reach out to us, or again, Mike can reach out.
Yeah, we can add it to the next
but-
agenda.
Okay. I don't think that, like, Net Zero isn't the one to necessarily speak with. They don't do the work. It's just as the liaison that I had gone to, they often come and ask and say, like, what's been going on? Have you looked into this?
Yep.
From the town part of it. So I was just wondering if there's any path that we can go on proactively to see if there's any savings to be had or any more efficient systems to be put into Derry Village on that end.
Sure.
Awesome, thanks.
And I mean, as we're working through the South Range stuff, we'll make sure that that's a discussion point too.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now we will, did you have a?
Yep, I just have one thing I kind of want to add. The First View bus app that we brought up back in October, I just wanted to let the town know that there's 498 registered users on that app, and some parents follow multiple students, so there's 632 unique students actually being followed on the bus app, which is great. We have a total of 2,450 students assigned to buses from grades K to 8, and we have an estimate of 325 to 350 at Pinkerton riders. So it's pretty good. We're getting there. So if you haven't signed up for the First View student bus app, just reach out to your school or look back on your parent square.
I use it every morning. I have it on my phone. My son has it on his phone. It's pretty accurate. All right, we have, that should cover committee reports, FYIs, member updates. Did you have something?
Right. Well, Jenna just brought to my attention that the Start Times Committee will be meeting for the final time on Thursday. We haven't met in some time either because of the holidays and everything, but people that are listening to my voice right now may have replied to the survey that went out. All that information was gathered by Dr. Crawford, and we have some information to look over on Thursday as a committee, so stay tuned.
All right, thank you, everybody. Our upcoming meeting schedule, we have one meeting remaining before the deliberative session and then 3 remaining before the election. So our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, January 27th, 6:30 here at the Municipal Center. Following that, we will have the deliberative session, which I mentioned earlier will be Saturday, February 7th, 10 a.m. in the West Running Brook Gymnasium. We'll then have a regular meeting on Tuesday, February 10th, again, 6:30 p.m. here at the Municipal Center. With that, we have no non-public business tonight, so if there is no other business, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
First by Jen,
Second.
second by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Good night, everybody.
Aye.